Coming to you from Crunchyroll HQ, this is the Gachiakuta After Show, where each week we're talking out the trash. I'm new here, everybody. Hello. We're breaking down the latest from the anime series, sharing our favorite moments, and so much more. In case you didn't figure it out already, I'm your guest host, Haley Whisennand.
And it's me, back like always, not buried in a trash pit somewhere. It's your boy, LeAlec Murray.
Let's enter the abyss together. I did it more of like a serious tone.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's just been fun. So I'm just dive in.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we dive into the episode, we had some stuff from last episode that we wanted to make sure that we brought up to you guys, because you guys asked about the music in the show, specifically the ending theme. We found it, and we're going to link it in the show notes, but it's by Dust Cell, so you can stream and enjoy it right now.
Add it to the playlist.
It's great. Just add it to the playlist. I did it this morning. My anime playlist just grows every season.
So good.
And also, you guys answered our question about what your vital instrument would be, and we got some great ones. So
this
Haley,
is a cool question.
This was a great question.
I did listen last week, and I heard Nick say Tums, and I was like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that is 100% his vital instrument. Yes. So Emily from Spotify said that their vital instrument would be their blanket that they had since they were a baby, and their teddy bears Jimmy and Ashley that they had since she was a little girl. My blanket will be used for defense, and my bears are going to be used for offense with endless laser ammo. That's insane, but that'd be so cool.
Somebody put a lot of thought into that, and Emily,
yes.
that is my kind of thought right there.
And then Afro Skull also said on Spotify, my vital instrument would be my black jacket. It has inside pockets. We love a jacket with inside pockets. Yep. It would be called skeletal protection because it protects my skinny body. Great. Powers include 2 large skeletal arms that come out of the sleeves, and it can store thought energy into objects inside it by protecting them, and when pulled out, are given a power based on how I view that specific object, similar to the goat Rudo. And they said that they made this OC a few months ago, by the way, so This has been cooking.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like a hardcore cook, and thank you, Afro Skull.
I was thinking about this when I was listening to the episode last week, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I have an object that I like. I would be a support person probably, just because I don't have an object that I like have really carried around.
Oh, you got to give us something.
Well, here's the thing. Slight spoiler, I guess, for the rest of this episode.
For the rest of the episode.
For the rest of this episode. But I actually would be pretty chill with being a support. So
the support was pretty cool in this episode.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the weird answer and say I'm gonna be a support.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, everyone, for interacting with us, sharing your vital instrument. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see what everybody else says about their vital instrument as well too. So keep that question rolling.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the recap. This episode starts with Rudo and crew when we left them in episode 3. They were traveling to Cleaner's HQ, and they've arrived. And the big thing that you see is you see the big symbol in the front. It just looks like this big, almost run down warehouse or somebody's big oversized mansion or something, but
it's got to be like a warehouse or something, because you think about how all of these buildings have to have been something beforehand, and there's restaurants and shops and whatever, but a building this big it's gotta be a warehouse, right?
It's gotta be something to fit all of those people. But then also we get another peek at a new character. We meet the receptionist Semiyu, and her ability is being able to see anybody's potential using her vital instrument, which is her glasses. Oh, and she killed flies with a fork. So that was
absolutely cool. Wild.
She's an absolute bad, and I found my new favorite character. Moving on.
I was excited to see her finally show up, because she was in the trailer And so many people immediately were just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I was like, oh man. And I know both you and I, Lee, have read the manga. And so when I was seeing all the fan reactions, I was like, oh man, just wait. Everybody who's watching the anime, you're going to love her even more. So I'm very excited to see how everybody reacts to her. So then after we meet her, which also glasses as a vital instrument, maybe I do have a vital instrument. Maybe it's
there you
my
go.
glasses. But then when Semiyu looks at Rudo, you can kind of tell that she definitely sees more than she's letting on.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Which is mysterious, and we love a good little mystery. But she does at least inform Rudo that there's some poop on his neck from their battle with Zonka. So I guess she was nice enough at least to tell him that.
Yeah.
Engine then takes Rudo to meet the boss of the cleaners. And then they actually find out he's not there and no one knows where they are. And then we also find out that nobody in the cleaners knows what the boss's vital instrument is or what their power is. So basically just, you know, a classic boss situation where you're like, nobody really knows anything about them. They just exist. And they're here.
I'll talk about this more when we get to the dumpster dive, because this trend of information and how you're supposed to disseminate it keeps coming up. So I think it's very important here. But now it's time for Rudo to go on his first cleaning assignment. Because the boss is not there. He has to basically be in a trainee kind of situation. Last week, we talked about how some of the areas are toxic and others are safe to live in. And this is explained a little bit before they go on the mission. People living on the ground know where the polluted areas are, and you can only breathe without a mask in some of these areas, a maximum of 15-ish minutes.
Yeah. I just want to say, love that every shonen series has a good old little, like, you got to be a little, like, in training person. You don't get to go directly. You don't get to go directly to fighting. You just get to, like, here, go follow somebody for a second.
Yep. Absolutely. It's like, nope, you can't be here yet. You gotta do the thing. Okay, bye.
But then it's mission time, which is super exciting. Rudo gets to go along with Rio, who we met at the end of the last episode, but don't really know too much about, as well as a few supporters from Cleaner HQ. Like I kind of hinted at the top of the episode, supporters don't have powers, but they're basically there to, like, help the cleaners on their missions. So they still are, like, battle ready, but they don't have, like, the crazy powers of the cleaners.
Oh, no, they got powers. They got hands.
They got,
They got hands.
They got these hands.
You get these hands. But going into that mission, we see Rio fight a horde of trash beasts, which is the first time that we actually see an actual, like, horde in the very much kind of, like, zombie sense. Like, the first couple trash beasts we run into is just kind of like the big boss type, or it was like a couple of them. But this is an actual horde. But we find out what her vital instrument is, and it's a pair of scissors, a pair of giant scissors that she controls with her feet, which is crazy, which means she would probably also be an incredible soccer player. But that's besides the point.
I think it's wild that she wields it with her feet. I don't know why, though. I'm very curious about that.
They don't explain it. They just say, oh, she doesn't use her hands. She uses her feet. It's like, okay.
You're like, okay.
You just accept it. But then this also, we've talked about in the last couple of episodes, how important it is to see the evolution of battles and different vital instrument types, because each one is different, each wielder is different, and this just continues the trend. Whereas like Rudo, we know he's going to be able to use pretty much anything he puts his hand on. Everybody else is going to be specialized, and this just continues to fit into this thing of, you know, all of these cleaners are going to have a specialized weapon. And she proves like that, you know, literally like anything in this world could be used. So her pulling a pair of scissors and just literally slicing trash beasts in half is just continues this trend.
So cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the battle ends. She kicks a lot of ass and takes a lot of names. And then it ends with her actually discovering that the big trash beast that's part of like this big horde was powered by a vital instrument. Ooh. And it's like this little box cutter. And then we get a mysterious closing, which... Oh, yeah.
May,
mysterious mysterious figure.
Yeah, may cause some trouble for our boy Rudo. So this is the mysteries are getting deep. Getting deep. But speaking of getting deep, now it's time for our dumpster dive. Of course, we take a couple different parts from this week's episode and we talk about it. This week, we have a couple different things, more so on the world building aspect, because one thing that the show is continuing to do for the season is it's showing us that there's a lot more information that we need before we can fully, dive into what makes Gachiakuta, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that Engine says at the beginning of this episode, again, he reiterates it. And then, Rudo says it again at the back half of the episode is information is very valuable here. Mm-hmm. So it's almost treated as like a currency. So Engine at the beginning of this episode, when they go see the boss unsuccessfully, reminds him that like, hey, we don't know what his power is. Don't ask him about how to get back up top because you don't know what the price is. So information is valuable. You have to make sure that you remember that. And you have to make sure that like, if you're going to ask for the information, you have to be prepared for what comes after that.
Yeah. And I love that as a setup for this story, just because obviously it's a really nice narrative thing of saying, okay, you're not just going to, we're not going to give you the information that easily, reader or watcher. Right. But also it sets up that Rudo has to really dig into this world of the surface of the ground and really find out things for himself and find, information that he can trade. So he has to like go out and be proactive as opposed to hoping that he would just get the answers right away, which, every shonen protagonist is kind of just like, when they're young and naive, they're like, I'm going to figure it out right away. And then they don't. So it's nice to see that they're really setting up his growth, but also his development in this world.
Yep. And speaking of development, we've got some more world building. We mentioned it in the recap before they go on their first mission. Rudo, anyway, goes on his first mission with the cleaners.
Yes.
We get a breakdown of the zones. So this is also interesting because we've talked about previously on the recap how some areas are toxic, some are not, some are totally livable. Trash beasts are specifically only staying in one area and sometimes come over to inhabited areas. But this is going to set a precedent of like where we're going to see them do missions and also where we're going to see them potentially stay away from depending on the toxicity of certain areas. They mentioned that the area that Rudo dropped into was like a very like heavily toxic dead zone kind of area, which kind of alludes to the fact that there are other areas throughout, the ground that they just don't go to for that fact.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to think about, obviously, not only the area that Rudo dropped into and how insanely toxic that seemed to have been, but I guess that also describes how you had, what was it, like 8 or 9 different mega trash beasts that Engine had to fight off. And you're like, okay, I think that makes a little more sense why there were so many of those big guys there. But it also is curious to think about, okay, why are there only these certain pockets in the world? Like, why isn't it that this toxicity is spreading? Why isn't it that this is becoming a problem elsewhere? And again, with the information is valuable type thing, maybe that's something we're going to learn a little more about as to why either those segments are staying as is or why it maybe is expanding.
That's a good shout. But let's not dig too deep into it because we still have to go to the pit. That's right, y'all. Pit pool. We are going to talk about our favorite moment, line, or reveal of the episode. Haley, you have a good one. Why don't you go first?
Mine is the music when Rio first begins fighting the big trash beast. I think the music in general for the show is really good, and I know you guys have talked about it in past episodes, but this one was kind of like an actual rock song with lyrics kind of playing and stuff, and it just gave like this really badass vibe for everything. And so it just fit the situation, and it fit her kind of approach to just being like, I got this covered, I'm fine, I don't you guys just stay back there and hang out or whatever. And it was so cool.
Yeah, and it was such a cool moment because you realize that like there are parts, it's unlike when we met Engine and we were with him for his entire fight with the Trash Beast.
Right.
For her, we weren't. Like, we were essentially focusing more on Rudo and the supporters because Rudo's kind of having his existential crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on that, you know, Rudo, in this moment of, you know, this fight, he realizes what the cleaners are about. Like, he's fully understanding that, like, hey, I have to actually utilize these vital instrument powers that I have in order to achieve what I want. But this also means that in order to get there, I have to work with these people. And it's equally as important that I'm supporting them as they are supporting me, because there's a couple instances where he probably could have died in this battle like he did when he first showed up to the ground. Yeah. So this was a very, like, another coming of age moment for him where he was like, oh, there's something more important than whatever my mission is right now. Like, I just want to get back somewhere, but these people are living this and I have to be supportive of them as well too. So,
and just thinking about how one of the cleaners just straight up stopped one of the Trash Beast's bare hands. Just said nope.
Yep, and just crushes a skull. Yeets him. There we go.
I can't wait to see what is going to come up in the next few episodes. So as always, everybody, leave your comments in the comments section. That feels redundant, but yeah, that's where you leave them. And let us know your vital instruments if you haven't already. Let us know what you think is going to happen next. If you don't already know who the secret person is at the end of the episode, let us know what you think. If you do, don't tell anybody. We don't say anything.
No spoilers, please.
And, you know, it's another great episode. Lee, you ready to take us out?
I guess if we must leave the pit. Thank you for joining us for the Gachiakuta After Show, brought to you by Crunchyroll and the folks over at Sony Music Entertainment. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
The Gachiakuta After Show is hosted by LeAlec Murray, Nicholas Friedman, who's not here. He's taking a break, I guess. Leah President, taking well-deserved time off. And just for today, me, Haley Whisennand. We are executive produced by Jonathan Hirsch, Joanna Clay, and Nicholas Friedman. Thank you to our lead producer, Kyla Carnero, our producer, Carlos Solorzano, and our associate producer, Zoe Culkin. Open-Ended Films edited and mixed this episode's audio. Our head of production is Sammy Allison. Special thanks to Tamika Balance-Glasney, and, of course, the creators of Gachiakuta, Kei Urana and Hideyoshi Andou.
And we will be back next week with more Gachiakuta, and I'm so excited because stuff is getting good, y'all.
It's so good.
We will see you then. There's nothing you do about it. Later days.